To the Breakdown with Birkenhoff. I'm your host, Wyatt Birkenhoff, and we're here today with a real quick short video that I just wanted to get my thoughts out on this situation as a country in this particular video. But I'll appreciate it if you stay to the end, because I do have a few channel announcements and one major announcement from that point on. But before I drag this video out too long, we will go ahead and play this video, and this is from Twitter by AI, the Greek, and we'll play it here. So, at this portion of the video, we see that a flag is burning on the ground with it appears to be a few signs that basically say F Trump or F politics in general today. That's not really besides the point, but it looks like the signs were kind of used along with the flag to actually burn it on the ground. And this isn't the first time that we've seen this sort of imagery being used with the flag. And some argue the importance of what the US flag stands for, but in general I would say the average American sees the US flag and either sees a patriotic country, what stands for their particular values, or if you're more in line with the extreme left, and I dare to say extreme left, you might see the flag as something that doesn't stand for what you physically believe, but rather the opposite of what you believe, like Antifa views the flag. And this isn't the first time that we've seen burning flags in a form of a protest, but also in this portion of the video we see this man's leg catch fire on a few of the ashes from the flag. And the fire isn't like an actual on fire with his pants leg, but it's rather just a spark that kind of burned through. But that's kind of besides the point. This is obviously a dramatic protest play almost of what this guy's doing. He's making it over dramatic. He's making a scene out of this situation more than just burning the physical flag itself. But I'll continue on in the video and then add a little bit more of my thoughts. So obviously we see the stance of these Antifa protesters, and obviously we know, based off of what Antifa has done in the past, that they are very much against Trump and are the extreme version of the left. And I think the average person who's Democrat or maybe even leans more left or more progressive as a Democrat still sees Antifa as a bad organization and something that doesn't stand for their particular values. I think that should be stated clearly. But if you are someone that does support Antifa, it is a rather bizarre thing to see Antifa burn flags and protest in the way they do. For the average American, I would say that Antifa is the exact opposite of what the average American believes. And Antifa has been made fun of a lot, but also tends to a lot of conservatives tend to say that Antifa isn't Antifa hasn't been scrutinized as much as, let's say, the Proud Boys or any other terrorist organization, in quotations, or any other protesting group. And Antifa's rather been dodged, and even Joe Biden in this recent elections has refused to call Antifa a terrorist group, and Trump has called Antifa a terrorist group. And I just thought this comment was very much summed up by this Twitter commenter by Most Revered Austri Goat, and this person says, "This is a middle-aged divorced white dude. They're doing this to get the attention of some younger girls, chicks, woke men who are in some Antifa morning coffee gossip group that all are passionate about stopping Trump." And on a side note to that, if you want to learn anything that about Antifa that goes against the average coverage of what the movement stands for, I would suggest looking at Steven Crowder's footage when he went inside the Antifa organization. And obviously Steven Crowder is a controversial figure, a lot of people would say, but is very much a conservative YouTuber and conservative content creator, like a Ben Shapiro type. But I do think it gives a good perspective on what usually is not showed with the group of Antifa. And it's important to get all of the articles from one side and all of the articles from the other side, because like I've said many times before, most often what's on the middle is mostly right. And that brings me to another major point. As protests continue, and as protests turn into more events like Antifa uses protests for and burning flags, it sparks outrage, and this outrage gets attention. So a lot of people would argue, is Antifa's organization and their protesting useful or unuseful? If you want to get attention for your organization, Antifa is very good at getting that attention. But what they stand for isn't something that a lot of people tend to agree with. So I think a lot of people do see Antifa as just a bunch of radical people that in general need to be stopped. And now it brings me to the end of the video and my major channel announcement. I have been working on a video of an analysis of a documentary, and I plan to have it out either this month or sometime in Thanksgiving break. I haven't settled on an exact date yet, but I'm going to be releasing that video very soon from now. So as soon as I decide on the precise date, I will let you know about that video. But I hope you'll all enjoy the video. It's very different than what I've done in the past, but I do think it's pretty good, especially if you're a fan of documentaries or a fan of just what's going on in today's culture. I appreciate you stopping by, and thank you.